Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the School District of the City of Harper Woods Board of Education. Today's date is December 17, 2013. Time is about 7:10. We're getting a little bit of a late start. We had a couple of last minute changes. We do have a revised agenda. I hope everybody has that. And at this time, I'd ask everybody to rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, all members are present except for Mrs. Purnell, and she had I believe, a previous engagement this evening. We have the revised agenda. Do we have a motion to accept the revised agenda?
Motion.
Support? Any discussion? And the only difference between the original agenda and the revised agenda is the addition of 5.2.2.2, which would be, it's on the consent agenda, and it would be the hiring of a new dean of students. All in favor of approving the revised agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Yes, the revised agenda is approved 6-0. That brings us to the next item on that agenda, which is 5.0, the approval of the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of expenditure reports for the month of November of this year, and some personnel matters, resignation or termination of Erica Barkley, our dance team coach, and Jane Hicks, the lunch supervision at Tyrone, new hires or rehires, the first being Tiffany King for JV girls basketball coach, and the second being Mr. Jimmy Henry is the Dean of Students Athletic Director at the secondary campus. Any members wish to have any matters removed from the consent agenda? All right, hearing none. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Consent agenda is approved 6-0. That brings us to correspondence. Normally, Mrs. Purnell handles that. I don't know if anyone else is aware of correspondence that we may have received.
There's been some email.
There's been some emails. I think
It's automatically forwarded, so.
I'm pretty sure that that's been forwarded to all members. I'm not aware of any snail mail, as the young people call it. And that brings us to 7.0, which is always a highlight, the student spotlight. And this is spotlighting some holiday essay contest winners at Tyrone, and I'll let you make the introductions if you want. Or did you want Mrs.
Miss Vanderlinden,
to do it?
You could introduce our student spotlight, Miss Van.
Well, only one of the three showed up, so I would like to introduce. We had three winners, one from fourth grade, one from fifth grade, and one from sixth grade. And Kayla Griffin is here tonight. And so, come on up, Kayla.
You're going to explain the winners of what? Okay, great.
Yep, I will. Come on up.
Hi, Kayla. We're glad that you're here.
Kayla, you're the star. We had a holiday essay contest, and we've done this every year at Tyrone Elementary School. It's a holiday essay concert that they sponsor, and if there is a winner, they get to participate in the parade at the Grosse Pointe. Did you get to do that? And ride on the fire engine? Although I heard one of the fire engines did break down. Did yours break down? Yeah.
Better than go on the way to an emergency.
Yes. But in the past, sometimes we've only had like
easy for you to
3
say.
students participate. But this year, Mrs. Cawley did it for one of her art projects to incorporate writing across the curriculum. So we had tons and tons of applicants. So it's a really huge honor that yours was chosen, because in the past, like I said, sometimes we didn't even have more than one. But they had all kinds of children participate in this. And she brought her paper to read tonight, and she is our 4th grade first place winner from Tyrone Elementary.
The Griffin Family Reunion. Our family believes that spending Thanksgiving together is a tradition that lasts for a lifetime. My mother gets up early on Thanksgiving morning and starts to cook dinner for our family gathering that takes place late in the afternoon. Her Thanksgiving dinner is usually baked chicken rolls stuffed with dressing, macaroni and cheese, greens, mashed potatoes, dinner rolls, cranberry sauce, and tasty yams. She also cooks a lot of desserts that my family always eats up by the time the gathering is over. My sister and I usually get up early so that we can watch the Thanksgiving parade on TV in the living room while my mom is cooking dinner. Once the parade goes off, some of my cousins and uncles come over and watch football with my father. By the time the football game has ended, more family and friends will have arrived, and my cousins and I play in the basement until dinner is ready. Once dinner is finally ready, we all gather around the dinner table and bow our heads, and my father says a prayer over the dinner, and we begin enjoying the food that my mother has cooked.
Very good.
I'm sure your father loved watching that Lions game this Thanksgiving. Very good, Kayla. Thank you very much. And congratulations to you, because I know that children that write this well, they usually get a lot of encouragement from home. So thank you for encouraging her.
And read that well. And read that well as well.
Read that well. And you were better than I am reading up here.
Very nice,
So
Kayla.
congratulations. Michael Lang was a 5th grade winner, and Dayan Johnson Ross was the 6th grade winner, but they couldn't make it tonight.
Kayla, you know, you have to invite everybody who's here now for next Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm coming to your house. All right.
Thank you, Mom and Dad. We appreciate your support and your partnership with the district. Kayla, congratulations.
Okay, that brings us to district activities. We'll start out as usual with Beacon. And Ms. Gottsleben.
I won't go too close to the microphone because I'm not feeling well. I didn't want to pollute our board members this evening. Well, December is always a very busy time for Beacon. We are so excited for Christmas, so staying focused to learning is a challenge, but we make it happen. We had our movie night at the end of November, and we had over 120 students participate. Came in their pajamas and brought their blankets and pillows, and we had a good 20 or 25 Tyrone students join us as well. So that was a great event. We watched, as I told you last time, The Great and Powerful Oz, and we had Mrs. Alamon freeze framing and showing us each of her parts, because it was very cool. We just finished our Santa shop, and lots of shopping was done, thanks to the parents who participated and helped that to be such a success. We have our sing-along on Friday at 3 o'clock, so come join us in the gym. It gets a little crowded with all of our elves singing, but you are so welcome to come. I'd like to also acknowledge our first place winners of the Holiday Essay Contest. Every first, second, and third grader at Beacon participated through Miss Cawley. I think I told you about her as our new art teacher. Mrs. Van and I both observed her, and Mrs. Van texted me and said, wow, and I would say the same thing. She's a Harper Woods graduate, still lives in the community, and she is doing an amazing job as a first-year teacher in art. And when I challenged her with this, I didn't really expect her to take every student in first, second, and third for this contest, but she did. And I'd like to read our winners just so they're acknowledged. Our first grade winners, first place was Savannah Rich, China Jefferson, Zaria Carpenter, and Mikhail Jenkins. Our second grade, first grade winners were Marissa Beasley, Jordan Toney, and Thomas George. And we had 5 third grade winners, Alea Brown, Jessica Nelson, Demaria Harris, Maya Pickett, and Madison Thompson Blade. And Wayne County Community College, who was the sponsor of this event, was so impressed with all of the entries at Beacon, they came and did an assembly where they acknowledged all the children who participated and brought treats and certificates for everybody. So that was very nice, because at our level, when you don't win, it's a little tough to take. So everybody was a winner, and that was great. And those students did ride on November 29th in the parade. I didn't hear about the fire truck. Just getting ready for the holidays, and looking forward to 2014, looking forward to MEEP scores return. We should be getting them anytime, so very anxious to see those scores this year. Any questions?
Yes. Do you know how many other schools participate in the essay contest?
I think there was 3 or 4 in Grosse Pointe Elementaries. I think it was Defer, Popard, because there was a big, I'm sure, Joan, you saw it in the paper, in the CNG, our kids had pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think there were 3 elementaries in Grosse Pointe, and then Beacon and Tyrone. So
We beat out Grosse Pointe.
we did. We had 3 rows of pictures, just saying. Not that it matters, because we're all winners, right?
I think I'm correct when I say the event is sponsored by the Grosse Pointe Chamber of Commerce and Wayne County Community College District.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And now, Mrs. Van will bring us up to date on Tyrone.
It's been a busy month, and for me especially, I've been getting into the classrooms and doing observations, as well as Mr. Biedewald came over and led us through some measuring what matters. And I just want to express to you that the iPad carts that we have for the grade levels, they are used non-stop, and some of the things that I see the students doing with are amazing. So when we add to that collection, I can only imagine some of the great things that we're going to be able to do. So I wanted you to know almost every observation used them in some form or the other, and they're becoming second nature to the kids. I mean, it's like opening a textbook and doing work. That is what, when these kids get their iPads out, it's just that simple and that easy for them at this point. So I just wanted to let you know the carts that we have, 1 per grade level, are really being put to great use.
You didn't have any other reason for letting us know.
No, I'm just letting you know. I mean, it really is amazing. It is really amazing. And so if ever we add to that collection, I'm just letting you know, they too will be put to good use. 2 of my staff members approached me, and they wanted to start a green school club. And so they had their first informational meeting, I think it's Thursday at school. It's either tomorrow or Thursday, so I apologize, but you won't see this by then, so it'll be over. But they are asking for students who want to be part of the Green Club, and the Green Club will be to do and bring awareness to recycling, reusing, and all the friendly earth things. They're sponsoring dress down days for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and with that money they're going to be buying recycling bins, and they have some goals in mind of adopting an endangered species and all kinds of really cool things. So there was a lot of interest generated with our students. So I thought that was a really great club that we've never had before, and it will be taking place after school. They'll meet a couple times during the month. So I've had that in my newsletters, and if parents, it's not too late. If your child missed the informational meeting, they're still able to get the information from either Mrs. Willis or Ms. Smith and become part of that club. This month we are working on our positive behavior system, and this month we did bathroom behavior, and I know that seems pretty easy, but there's a lot of issues that can go on in the bathroom, and so we spent all month talking about the correct ways to use the bathrooms, and Friday we have our reward for the students who earned the specific amount of, they changed their colors, and if they had so many greens and they had 1 gold for the month, gold meaning they went above and beyond, and wasn't just at the level of green, which is what every child's expected to be, but did something to reach and go just a little more than what was expected at least one time during the month. They will be receiving their reward this month is a holiday movie, one of the Charlie Brown Christmas movies, and hot chocolate. And so that's what we will be doing on Friday. They're very excited about that. They've been coming up to me saying, I think it's more the hot chocolate that they're excited for. So that will be for this month. And next month we are moving on to recess behavior. So I have to tell you that I'm really excited with this new PBIS. It just changed up what we were doing at Tyrone. We needed to make it a little different. The best thing about it are the videos that we are doing. The kids really enjoy being in them, and they really enjoy watching them. And every Monday we watch the new video, so thank you to Mr. Hopkins again, who has done some amazing things with his videos that we're taping it and the kids are a part of it, but he's editing it and working with some of the teachers and kids, and it's amazing what they're coming out with. So thank you again. We have on Friday at 9:30, our band, the 6th grade band, is performing for the holiday. They did that last Thursday. They were actually really wonderful. I was very, very impressed with that 6th grade band. And they're performing for the school. Anybody's welcome to come and join. Parents are welcome, grandparents. It's this Friday at 9:30 at the Tyrone Elementary School gym. But I do want to warn you, because afterwards we were doing a quick sing-along as well as our rendition of the 12 Days of Christmas. And if you do not like loud noises, you will want to leave before that, because it gets just a little nutty at the end of 12 Days of Christmas. It's a lot of song to be singing, and like I said, it gets a little crazy. And we too did a Santa shop. We had to break it up into days because we didn't have any rooms to put it in, so we did it 3 days last week and 2 days this week. And thank you to Mrs. Cook and Mrs. Dries and to Misa Dokes, who are our parent volunteers, who ran it partway during the school day and then did some of the evenings. It was fairly successful, so we appreciate that. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Mrs. Gottlieb, did you want to chime in on the iPad?
Yes, same. In fact, I have children who come into my office and, they need to work with me because they're distracted. They're like, where's my iPad? That's my iPad. So once we get a few more, I'll be able to keep one in my office for that. But right now, we don't have enough. So, good.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Norwood, you're going to bring us up to date on the middle school and the high school.
Yes, I would. Just to echo what the beautiful ladies in the back said, we call ourselves Charlie's Angels because we're so beautiful together. That's why we sit together. So the iPads and the Mac Air books are being used in the classrooms, and the kids love them. Like you said, it's a second nature. They're going to them, having Silas Williams in the classroom to help them. It's just been phenomenal, just seeing the things that they're doing with it. I wish I had something like that back when I was in school. The teachers in the middle school are really working with the students. The students are really working hard on more hands-on projects in the science and math classes. I like that. I like to see that. Also in the English classes, they're doing more oral reports. So I like the fact that a lot of the teachers are working with our kids to be able to be more comfortable in speaking, like the young lady that was just here, being more articulate and confident. I looked at her and I said, she's more confident than me as a kid speaking, so I'm getting tips from her. The MEEP dance, I keep talking about the MEEP dance and just anything MEEP because it was phenomenal. The kids had a good time, and to win $50, we had our top 3 winners and they performed, and it was just, just had teachers come down. I saw one of the teachers, Mr. Turk. I didn't know he knew how to dance that well, so it was just fun. I think the teachers had more fun than the kids. Vista Maria, they're taking the kids on a skating party tomorrow, so that's going to be really fun for the kids because they deserve it. We have some really good kids, so that's going to be fun. Brittany Kellum, the conflict resolution person that's working with the middle school girls, they love her to death. She comes, every day in the evenings, and they're looking for her to come, so I think that's really good. The basketball and cheerleading teams are excited about this season. Me coming from a different district, working in Harper Woods is a family to me, and to see how many kids stay after school for the programs and get excited about sports. I never knew that they had middle school sports. So our kids are really dedicated, especially the cheerleaders. They have their own little wing in the back, and it's just really cute to see them just dancing and having a good time. So. And going to the high school, the MME ACT preparation is in full effect. All of our teachers, especially the 11th grade teachers, are really focused because before we wait, know it, it'll be here in March. So we're making sure that we're focusing on the MEEP. And again, like I said, technology is just, It's just the one-to-one computers, the kids know what is expected of them when they come into the classrooms. So they go automatically to they know their numbers and they grab them, and it's just, you see a different feel in the classroom when I see them using the computer, so I'm just really impressed by that. And the dual enrollment program is going to start in the upcoming semester. We have, the kids are going to expected to get 37 credits, and that's going to be pretty nice as a parent to know that my kid has 37 credits out of the way when they enter college, when they graduate. That's a phenomenal thing. So, you know, I credit you, Mr. Beaterwood, for making sure that we stay on top of that, because that's going to be, it's going to save the parents a lot of money. The robotics teams, the kids are nice. I'm very excited about that. They had their first meeting, I want to say, last week. So we're just doing some phenomenal things on the secondary campus. We're going to have a food distribution coming up from the Parent Network. The boys and girls basketball team, we have a game today. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to attending is the wrestling. I've never been to a wrestling meet, so Mr. Gabrielson is doing the wrestling. And to see the excitement for some of the kids, you know, I just really have to go. And they always ask me, Ms. Noor, are you going to come? So I'm going to go to one of the wrestling matches. And one of the things that I feel like is most important is teachers. You know, I'll say that I love my students, but I love my teachers. So tomorrow I'm going to transform this room into a winter wonderland to celebrate the teachers, to let them know how much we appreciate them here on the secondary campus. They're going to have a luncheon. So I'm looking forward to that. Any questions?
Is that robotics team, is that for the middle and the high school? Or?
You know what, mostly high school, but I saw a couple of middle school kids asking me about it too, so I'm going to see, you know, if we can extend it. Yeah, but they are asking about it, you know, which is good. Yep. Yeah. So, thank you.
Oh,
yes.
The robotics team, who's the partner or sponsor?
Mr. Pavlik is the coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
And speaking of the robotics team, I think we should probably acknowledge we received a couple of grants.
Yep, we did. It was $15,000
right.
grant.
I'm
Yes.
not sure if that's what you were inquiring about or not, Ms.
Yes.
Williams, but we have received 2 specific grants. The first of those was a $6,000 grant through our partnership with United Way and most specifically the GM Foundation. And so obviously GM, part of their core functions is engineering processes under that research and development umbrella. And so to cultivate the next generation of leaders in those job capacities, $6,000 from the United Way and the GM Foundation. And then as well, engineering being such an important component of the economy here in Michigan, the Michigan Department of Education has also awarded us a $9,000 grant. So our kids are going to have some real state-of-the-art equipment that we're going to be able to purchase for them. And the build and the design stage, we'll have some pre-training as a rookie team in January. It will officially start in February, and then the competitions are in April and May. And it's a new program for our kids, so we're pretty excited. And our kids will be competing with other rookie teams, other teams who, like them, are doing it for the first time. And we took a group of kids to Liggett in the Grosse Pointes just last week. I think they're a 4th-year team this year, so our kids got a chance to interact with and learn from some kids who have a couple of years of experience, and I think the kids responded.
They're excited. They're excited. And again, parents, great things are happening on the secondary campus. Come and enjoy the experience. Our doors are always open. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to item 9.0 on our revised agenda, which is public participation regarding action items. If any member of the public wishes to address the board on an action item tonight, please step to the podium. All right, seeing none, that'll bring us to the action items. The first of which is the Technology Committee recommendation concerning teacher iPads K through 8. So start. You going to lead us through this?
If I might, I would appreciate it. And I just cannot resist this opportunity, so to my wife I say forgive me. But I'm so glad that my wife is not in attendance this evening. Because I occasionally find myself having conversations with my wife that go something along this path, if you will. Honey, we can't spend the same dollar more than one time. And we're still working on that in the Beater Wolf home as we try and manage our home budget. Because my wife does still have this concept that somehow we can spend the same dollar more than once, which in the real world means that we end up spending more money than we have. Never a good thing. Not a good thing at home, and not a good thing in one's place of work. Why do I share that? Because this, I think, is a real rare opportunity to authentically, conceptually spend the same dollar twice. And what do I mean by that? The board is well aware that last spring we had an opportunity, and we heard it referenced here today, to purchase nearly $500,000 of technological devices for our high school students through our SIG grant. Just a great opportunity for the district, and as we've said before, the board was particularly duly diligent relative to that purchase. Wanted to make sure that we got full value for that expenditure. And as part of that process, then we became involved in a consortium purchase that was sponsored by the Michigan Department of Education, in essence, volume purchasing. And part of the reason that the board made that decision was because there was the possibility of a rebate. And so I come back to that concept then of spending the same dollars more than once and investing them in our schools and on our kids. We're in a very fortunate position, because when the board authorized that nearly $500,000 purchase in the spring, the state then through the summer executed that volume purchasing, and as a result, the purchase price actually came in less than what it is that had originally been forecasted. And the bottom line is that the district then received a rebate of just less than $50,000. And so that's $50,000 that was part of the original expenditure, sent, if you will, to the state or the Michigan Department of Education, and now some of that same money has come back to put us in a position to be able to reinvest it again in the district. And I think that's pretty exciting. And as the board is aware as well, it does come with some specific designations. It is intended for technological enhancement in the district, and it does have a timeline of needing to be expended through this fiscal year. And we've heard our elementary principals speak to what it is that's ongoing in their schools currently. And I think that there is a vision that we will continue to support the ability of our teachers to become more adept in their use of instructional technology. And while we've got good things going in our schools already, our belief is that by providing one-to-one technology for our elementary and middle school teachers at this point, that we can accelerate the impact that instructional technology is having on our students, and perhaps the district might be in a position in the foreseeable future to make some additional purchases and bring more of those devices not only to our teachers but to our students as well. However, this particular purchase is about one-to-one technology for our elementary and our middle school teaching staff, and specifically iPads, which is the primary device that's utilized in our classrooms on a near daily basis. And so, a little long-winded, I know, but I thought there was a good story to tell there.
Yeah, wait till your wife hears it. It's all on tape, Mr. Beater.
Page 26.
All right. Okay, we have a recommended motion, which is on page 26 of your packet, that the Board of Education approves the attached technology and iPad purchases to include Apple TVs for each classroom, an iPad for elementary and middle school classroom for teacher use, and an additional MacBook Pro for the proper management of all the devices used under the Casper management system. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have support?
Support.
Any discussion?
Couple quick items. The MacBook Pro for the management, is one enough for that? I mean, these devices are in two buildings. Does there need to be?
You said yes.
Yes. And it looks like the total expenditures is around $56,000. Our grant refund or rebate was 48.9 or something. The balance of the funds are general funds.
So the question about the MacBook, we already have MacBooks that we purchased, one at Beacon, one at Tyrone.
Okay.
So this would be the one to manage the devices at the middle school.
Okay.
And basically, one MacBook can manage every device that's in the building. The reason you need a unique device to manage each of the buildings is because they're set up to iTunes accounts and iTunes University accounts specific to the computer. Tyrone and Beacon was sharing one back when we initially started this, but it was just causing some headaches. It would just be
that's
easier.
why I was concerned that there wasn't enough. And I actually
Yeah.
missed that there were 3 buildings. I was thinking there was 2. So
Yep, yeah.
that's all I have.
And I think, Mr. Beerwolf, I know we talked about the possibility that the state might offer a similar program this year as you described from last year, which would, if they do, would give us a third time to spend some of these dollars.
And so, Mr. Selburn, one, I would thank you specifically and the board as a whole, for your continued due diligence in making sure that we're taking full advantage of some of these programs and these opportunities. So I have asked Mr. Rabideau specifically to investigate that, and I believe that you've made contact with some of the personnel that are managing these consortium purchases. What have you learned?
They're currently running one that expires December 31st. It doesn't include iPads, MacBooks, or Apple TV products at this time, so we couldn't take advantage of that program. There was one scheduled to start open in January again, and I talked to the REMC as the corporation. Not exactly sure how they fit into it, but they're in charge in some way of the SPOT program, which is the purchase program. They said that the January offering is now postponed till the spring. They believe, they cannot guarantee, but they believe Apple will also be in that one in the spring. So, if we're looking to get the iPads and Apple TV in currently, I don't know that we want to wait, but if we are possibly going to a one-to-one iPad K8, that would be a great time in the spring to take advantage of that. It'll be a much more significant purchase.
I understand what you're saying. So if we're thinking about adding to it and getting a higher volume, we might want to wait and put everything in at one time.
No,
Yeah,
you're not
well-
recommending waiting on the teacher component.
I wouldn't
right?
wait on the teacher components. And, I think if Andy and Silas were here, they would also say not to wait on the Apple TV. Because they feel that the Apple TV is that next big breakthrough for our teachers and students, getting that into the classroom as soon as possible. So, yeah, I would recommend going ahead with what we've got
You're
on the
thinking
board
the
right now.
spring would be an ideal time if we go to a one-to-one or increase our ratio of devices?
Yeah, because then you're going to see that big rebate, I believe, come back again for the following year. Because that will be a significant purchase. Not that this current isn't as significant, but it'll be much more significant.
One other question that I have, either Mr. Beerwolf or Mr. Rabideau, and that would be the professional development for the teachers concerning this purchase. And I think we're going to we now have the capability, and we're going to do most of that in-house.
I would absolutely agree. In fact, I would suggest that one of those integration specialists that the board now employs is very similar to one of those individuals who would provide that training. So, if we're able to make a purchase whereby we get that training, I mean, it's augmentation, but I think we're very well positioned to provide the necessary and needed support.
And I suppose there's a chance that Apple might throw in some PD on this. It's not a huge purchase, but it's sizable.
We have, Apple doesn't offer much, certainly not anything in the way of discounts but we have a good relationship with our regional Apple people, and, they are listening to our needs. You're right, we aren't as big as an LA school district purchase of 100,000+ devices, but we're making significant purchases on a regular basis. So we did, as part of the original program, we did get 17 full days of PD We haven't utilized that. I'm not real sure how that was ever publicized, but we came across an email, I want to say 2 weeks ago, saying that there were a number of dates coming up, ending basically at this Friday for the PD. And in the email, it had said that they had been promoting this vigorously to all the people involved. And we were one of the larger Apple purchases at that time, and no one in Harper Woods heard about the PD they were offering. The good news is that we do have Silas and Andy who are providing the exact training that Apple is providing as a part of these purchases. But we can certainly send, other staff member out to get that training directly from Apple as well. And, we'll follow up with our rep and make sure that we get what they said we would get. Because it looks like at this point, the timeline is off and we didn't get to send anyone out to it.
Maybe they'll give us an extension.
Yeah, I believe they will. They've been pretty good with us.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of the motion to approve this purchase of additional technology? Say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. The motion and the purchase is approved, 6-0. Which brings us to 10.2, best practice resolution, page 35. In your packet, the recommended motion is that the Board of Education adopts the attached best practices incentives resolution. As a result, the district will receive additional funding of $52 per student. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have support?
Support.
Okay. Before we offer discussion, perhaps Mr. Biederwolf, you could just briefly bring us up to date on what this is all about?
Indeed, I can. The Michigan Legislature and the Governor's Office, this is the third year in a row where they have kind of set some management targets in front of districts, and they call them best practices. And they're both business practices and to a certain extent educational practices as well, such as online course offerings. And so the state is really challenging districts to make sure that they're evidencing continuing improvement and that they're managing the local districts in a contemporary way. And pending the board's action here this evening, this will be the third consecutive year where we will have met those standards. And really, it's a significant funding incentive for the district at $52 per pupil. That adds up to a significant amount of money here in the district, approximately $75,000, I want to say. And so I think it's something that we should be proud of. The state has said, here's some standards that a well-managed district should reach, and pending your action here tonight, we will reach them for 3 consecutive years.
And we anticipated that we were going to meet the standard last spring.
We did.
And we embedded this in our...
That is correct.
So we're not going to be looking for... I mean, it's additional money, but it's money that we've been anticipating because we thought we were well positioned for this.
Correct. Accurate.
Any questions or comments?
How many requirements, best practices do we have to adopt to win that?
The state identifies 8 different criteria. We are currently meeting 7 of the 8 criteria. The only criteria where we're not currently, it's that online component that I referenced. That's a new criteria in the state that takes effect by law in late January. I've actually got a follow-up meeting set for RESA already for early January to just help us to better understand how we will meet even that 8th criteria. But the expectation is at least 7 of the 8. That's where we set currently. And I think by the end of January, in fact, we'll be at the 8 of the 8 demarcation.
And I wouldn't call it winning, I'd call it earning.
Earning.
So what we're in essence doing is just, we're certifying for the Department of Education, for the state, that we have met this. That's what the function of the board here is, to certify that we have met their standards.
Yes, you are reporting to the Department of Education that you are eligible for these funds because you have met these standards in your management of Harperwood Schools.
Okay. Well, and yours as well.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you.
And our business manager, because a number of these are our business incentives.
They are.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All in favor of...
Wait, this has to be a roll call.
Oh, sorry. Roll call? Well, let's see. You going to do it?
Yep. Mrs. Menino?
Yes.
Mrs. Mahone?
Yes.
Mrs. Quaker?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Selber?
Yes, of course.
Motion passes 6-0. A resolution. Yeah.
Thank you. And might be summer tax, the 10.3, that brings us to 10.3, which is the summer tax resolution that's found on page 44 of your packet. And this too is a resolution. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education adopts the annual summer tax resolution for 2014 to impose a summer property tax to collect all of the school property taxes, including debt services upon property located within the school district and continuing from year to year until specifically revoked by this Board of Education. Do we have a motion to that effect?
Support.
Support? Okay. Just to start off, this is not a new tax.
Correct.
Do not want anybody to think that this is a new tax or a tax increase. So, that having been said, is there anything else to say about this?
I would defer to the business manager with that question.
This is basically just a formality that we have to go through every year to authorize the city to collect the property taxes for us. And as you said, it's an ongoing thing that that deals with both the debt and the normal property taxes. And we certainly are in no position at any point in the near future to discontinue this. So the formality will be something that's going to happen for the next few years.
Okay, thank you.
And it does, indicate specifically that it continues until revoked, but you're required to continue to do it every year.
Absolutely, yes.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this being a resolution, we'll take a roll call. Again, Mr. Keene, if you could help us with that.
Ms. Mahone?
Yes.
Mrs. Quaker?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Menino?
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Selber?
Yes.
6-0.
I should have said reluctantly because it has to do with collecting taxes. I wish I could vote no, but the responsible thing is to vote yes. That brings us to board items 11.0 on our agenda, which would be any subcommittee reports. Any committee have anything to report? Hearing none. We will move on to 12.0, which is the report of the superintendent. Mr. Biederwald.
Thank you, Mr. Selber. Looking out our windows today, we see that Michigan truly is a winter wonderland. And how nice to see some somewhat earlier than usual snows. But as I look out and see those snows, I'm reminded that it does snow here in the state of Michigan. And to our parents and our families, we ask that you expect that when we get a few inches of snow, that Harperwood schools will in fact be open. We're seldom surprised as these snow squalls, if you will, kind of come our way and give us a nice dusting and freshen our look and give us a chance to drag out the snow shovel and clear off the front porch and the front steps. My point is that when we get a few inches of snow, we're open. And we ask and we expect that our students demonstrate their normal attendance patterns, that they be at school, that they leave their homes a few minutes early, and that they be here on time. We take pride in being open And families, I'm just going to say it, you should only expect Harperwood schools to be closed in those instances where we have extreme weather conditions. You can look, but when we have a few inches of snow, we're going to be open, and we look forward to seeing our students and our staff in our classrooms and making it a productive day. As we think about the upcoming holiday season, again, congratulations to Kayla Griffin, to the Lang family, and to the Ross family as well for the performance of their students in the recent writing contest. What a great opportunity to have the Griffin family here and just kind of remind us that the holidays are a time for families. And so I hope that all of the Harperwoods families have a wonderful holiday season and celebrate the traditions of the time in the way that, as we heard Kayla recognizing, help draw families together and to keep families close. And then finally, we all know that, in fact, the holiday season will pass very quickly. And schools will reopen on Monday, January 6th. And particularly for our secondary students, I remind you that the first semester will end on Friday, January 24th. And so those 2 or 3 weeks of school are a very important time as you come back from the holiday season. You're preparing for final exams, you're closing out the second marking period, and you're working to keep those grade averages strong and perhaps to even move them a little bit further in the positive direction. So have a great time with your families. Enjoy the holiday. Come back well rested and ready to put your nose to the grindstone and end the first semester strongly. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Biederwolf. The only thing I'm going to add to what you said is a note to the parents, and that is, with this weather, dress your kids appropriately.
Indeed, sir.
That brings us to 13.0, the next item on our agenda, which is public participation. If any members of the public wish to address the board, please step to the podium and identify yourself. Pardon me?
Can we both come up?
Sure.
I am Jane Hook.
I'm Jane Hicks, and I'm here on the lunch supervisor at Tyrone, and I was just wondering what was going on and what was going to happen. I don't feel that it was all my fault, that she's the one that ran into me, knocked me down.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to say? I'm going to just say this. This is a personnel matter, and really at the board meeting like this, it's not appropriate to get into a personnel matter or discuss specific students. So I think that if you have any questions, it's best that you have a conversation or discussion with Mr. Biederwolf, but not in this type of a public forum.
Okay.
I would be really afraid that things that shouldn't be brought out in the public, names and things of that nature, might happen, and then we could all find ourselves in trouble.
Okay, well, I was just told that this is where it was going to be decided, so.
And Ms. Hicks, just very frankly, I may have made some procedural missteps, as we've kind of moved forward with this issue, if you will.
Okay.
So I've kind of had some kind of informal conversations with some board members about that. I do apologize. I think that,
Okay.
that you have been somewhat misinformed in that regard, and I take ownership for that. If you'd like to call my office and set up an appointment, I think it was Ms. Hooks, if you'd like to be part of that conversation, or Ms. Hicks, you'd like that to be the case, please do contact me either later this week or immediately following our return from break, whatever's more convenient for you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to the next item on our agenda, which is 14.0, items of interest to board members. Any board member wish to bring anything to everyone's attention?
I have a couple things from the library. If somebody is planning on taking the GED or the ACT soon, there's going to be test preparation through the Michigan Electronic Library's Practice Test website, Monday, January 20th at 6 p.m. do call the library and make a reservation for this so they know how many people are coming. They're also doing a very fun thing. If anybody's wondered how snow globes work, they're having a snow globe workshop, and the library will provide all the materials, and that is on Monday, January 27th at 6 p.m. It's for adults and teenagers or a parent that wants to bring a child. Come on down, and again, make a reservation so they have enough materials. The other thing I'd like to say is Merry Christmas to absolutely everybody in the district. Do enjoy the holidays.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes. Just something I saw recently. Coming down my street, I saw the two cutest little girls walking down the street coming from school. Must have been about maybe 6 or 7 years old. They were all bundled in their coats, had their hats, their gloves, scarves on. And they were walking down the street. But by the same token, I saw several middle school and high school students, and they were walking down the street in just a thin hoodie. And I know it gets very, very, very cold outside, so please, parents, if you can, encourage your kids to wear layers. If they're only going to wear a hoodie, at least wear layers underneath their clothes, because if frostbite sets in, it sets in very, very quickly, okay, because it's really cold out there. And a lot of students, I mean, that's all they had on was just the older kids, you know, little hoodies. So encourage them to dress a little more warmly.
To that, Regina, Cheryl, isn't there a staff member at your building that has a big car full of coats for kids? Miss Cheryl?
We have coats that were donated to us, and they're in our office now. We had a first set, and we were able to give all of them out. I checked every child and made sure they all had winter coats.
I think there is a staff member, and I can't exactly recall the conversation that I had with somebody in the past month that is in your building that has coats in her car that stops kids on the street and hands out coats. You don't know?
No, it's the first I've heard.
Okay.
I mean, we've been giving out coats.
Yeah,
but
sure. You're right, it is very common. I see that, Regina.
Yeah, especially the older kids, the middle school, high school kids.
It's quite, I'm losing with my own children. I don't know what it is, but they just refuse to wear a coat.
In some cases, it might be a lack of a coat, but in many cases, with these older children, it might be lack of a desire to wear something.
I don't get it. And my own children, I mean, my son and I fight all the time lately over him walking home from the bus stop because he refuses to wear his coat to school.
So, Ms. Van, do you recall, was it, excuse me, the Rotary Club that donated those coats? Am I recalling that correctly?
I'm not sure.
I want to say it was the Grosse Pointe Rotary. And so, particularly to our elementary parents, if there is a need, confidentially speak with staff in one of our school offices. We do have brand new coats. We've just distributed some in late November, and we've just gotten some additional brand new coats, particularly in sizes for elementary students. So if there's a need, please, parents, have a quiet conversation with someone in one of our offices. We can assist you and your family.
Anyone else? I've got a couple of things. I got a call last week from a parent. I wasn't home. This parent called, left a message, or talked to my wife, left a message. Was having a concern. When I got home in the evening, I called this parent, and as the conversation evolved very quickly, it turns out that this parent had an issue with Chandler Park and was confusing Chandler Park with the Harperwood School District. So all I thought of was we need to do a better job of distinguishing ourselves from Chandler Park. The last thing in the world we need is to be blamed for their shortcomings.
Well, I certainly don't intend these to be disparaging remarks, but the quality of our staff, our student student achievement, our technology integration, all of those things, I would hope and think help to distinguish us.
Well, it was very quick. I mean, when she started talking about what she was talking about, I said, wait a minute. And so it made things easy for me, but
good call to get in some ways.
In some ways.
Hope they were able to resolve that issue.
Yeah. So, but I thought it was a little bit amusing. The only other thing I was going to say is over this holiday season, everybody please be safe, be merry, and be happy. Anybody else?
No, happy holiday.
Happy holidays.
All right.
Happy holiday.
This meeting is adjourned. It's about 8:06.